This is my individual account. As you can see, it's been a pretty good year for me, that's for sure. So down here started at about 150,000. I did add a lot of cash. So I kind of worked a lot of side hustles over over the whole year. So
Uh-huh.
pulling in some contracts and stuff like that. So I did add a bunch of cash. However, when I kind of come back to, I do know about how much my options pulled in. My options alone pulled in, like I said, about 150,000, 147 here. So that is pretty dang cool with the end result. And then, of course, the market went up, which is why you're also seeing a ton of gains as well. So, and then down here, the other thing I like to look at is right here is my year to date. Up
That's big.
74,000. Yeah,
Very good.
yes. I kind of felt. I never felt like my hair was on fire, that's for sure. So I know 74,000 is big, but I never felt super out of control, I would say for sure. And I would definitely contribute that back to just having you there in my corner, I would say as well. So, having you just every once in a while touch base and kind of be like, is this a good play, bad play? And then also just kind of being aware of our conversations coming up, right? I want to make sure you're proud of me when I'm kind of making my trades. And so I'm kind of, what would Henry do in this scenario, and making sure I'm not super aggressive or super conservative as well. But yeah, so that's kind of how I grew that up. So
What was some of the, trades I guess that you may have not been certain about, but you're glad that you did?
concerns about, but glad that I did. So I would say an interesting one at the start of the year when we first started was some Tesla. I took like one of your early Tesla spreads or something like that, and it just went really bad fast for me. And maybe I had the wrong strikes or something like that, but I got really scared of Tesla in the end. And so as you can see, kind of like from my other numbers, you can see afterwards, I love Tesla. I love Tesla and coin, and I just started super actively trading them, and just kind of leaning into acquiring shares, selling cover calls, selling puts at the same time. So, that cover strangle strategy has been working really well. And I'm doing the same thing on like coin and AMD. And so I'd say at about like mid-year or so, after quite a few of our one-on-ones, I got a lot more comfortable picking my own stuff as well. And then another thing that got super scary early on was just sizing. So, kind of especially with like a spread or some puts, maybe if I was running like a naked put instead of a cover call, a covered put or a cash secured put, just kind of falling on my face a little bit and then having the courage to get up. I think that's one of the other things that I don't know if you you had an indirect kind of impact on me there, is just having that confidence in trading as well. So when things would go bad, having the confidence that what, I can make it up in the end, and kind of come back. And that absolutely did happen, right? Is, I get, sorry for jumping around, but again, when I hit this, minus 8,000 in March, that's pretty depressing for sure. But as you can see, I came back screaming in April, and just, in the past, maybe I would have, just been scared and stopped trading, if I had something like that happen to me. But with you kind of there, like I said, I had way more confidence in me, I can get this back, and had more trust in myself to, kind of take the plays and kind of make the commitment. So
What
yeah,
happened in
yeah.
July that, was so good?
What happened in July? I was probably way too aggressive, to be honest.
I know
So
we had a little bit of more aggressive trades.
this is my ledger of spreads, to be plain and simple. And so I do a ton of SPY and QQQ spreads. And kind of what I've been doing is I've been doing them. I trade them every day for the following week. And I keep just doing that over and over and over and over. I usually play them particularly safe. So, in that 10 to 15 delta kind of deal, and then, kind of working on the right sizing. So what happened in that month is adjusting my strategy a little bit. So, not being one monster spread, like having one spread with just, 40, 40 call, 40 or something like that. Super big. So having them much smaller is really one of the biggest adjustments that I made. And then just doing them more frequently. And what it kind of had the effect of is just a constant like rolling effect. And it would kind of move with the market. So this I would say is definitely not for everybody just because of that risk there. And then I also had kind of like I said, the safety net of other income. One thing I think you say repeatedly to a lot of new people as well is it's much easier to scale your income sometimes versus trying to scale your portfolio. And that's really what I did as well. So I felt like I could take the risk because I had the income backing to help me out also. So that kind of makes sense. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Tell me about, I don't know, have you found good trades on Option Spy?
Yeah. Everyone saw you use Option Spy. I did purchase a yearly subscription and I definitely will up it. So every once in a while when I'm like looking for, I wish they could just have, the tickers I wanted. But so like if you know what I'm looking for, so I'm gonna have to roll my Tesla here for next week or the 2 weeks out, right? I've got a couple rolls for the end of this week. So what I'll come in here and I'll see if there's any sort of Tesla play for a cover call. If there's nothing there, well then I might start looking at some sort of credit spread. Do they have something listed in here? And be like, oh, okay, what does this one look like? And I might see why they're picking these strikes. So I will have it help me either pick a cover call or I think the puts are way down here or selling puts. So it's pretty small today, but so I use it for ideas. I don't take always the exact trade, but I'll definitely use it as like, oh yeah, this looks like a good spot maybe to do this at.
Very good, very good. Yeah, you did really well this year.
Yeah. I think one thing I keep in mind is, when I do have a bad month, so like this, right? Losing 5 grand in a month, yeah, that really stinks. But when I zoom out, I'm like, dude, look, I made 6 grand previous 30, 20, 20, 20. I'm like losing 5 grand in 1 month. Yeah, that stinks and I don't want to lose. But zooming out, kind of like, oh yeah, it's not really a big deal. Now if I was continuously losing, that might be a different story. But zooming out every once in a while to not get too concerned about, one or two bad trades. So I think that's the other thing. Again, a lot of what you helped me with, is just confidence and just having just a little bit of accountability too. So not being dumb or overly aggressive on trades as well.
Yeah, that's really important. That makes a lot of sense. 10 out of 12 months were good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, one thing I definitely want to say is I don't think you realized how much you actually helped me. I know we don't always have a lot to talk about on our one-on-ones, and that's kind of good and bad, right? I come in and I tell you my month is boring and it's up. And I ask you if you have any kind of suggestions, and you usually don't, which is cool. But sometimes I want to see, I did something wrong and want the suggestion, but it's kind of funny on, like I said, is just having that accountability that you were there for me. And being like, I don't want to let Henry down when I come and see you in the month or so, right? I don't want to come in with a bad month or do something stupid. And I think that's the other thing I used you for, from time to time too, is if I made a bad trade or a stupid trade, I definitely would, I tried to confess to you too, right? To be like, I made this
I
bad
love that.
trade, and
I don't
here is
judge.
why, and here's why I think I made the bad trade. So I do a lot of self-reflection on my trades as well, especially when they go red. I'm like, why did I do that, right? Why did it go red? Is it something I did, or is it just something I couldn't predict, right? And then that happens too, right? Those, like an FOMC meeting or something happens or someone says something and the market just drops, right? You can't do anything about those, right? You talk about timing the market all the time and you can't do it. And so, is it something that I could have planned maybe better, right? Just so maybe not trade around an FOMC meeting, or just do something slightly different. But just trying not to be stupid sometimes is really the best thing.
Did you want to share anything else?
Yeah, I think the coolest thing that happened this year, Henry, and it happened in November and definitely in December here. And I didn't think this would happen for another maybe 5 years, but I did hit $1 million net worth, which is pretty dang awesome.
Oh,
Um,
congratulations. That's a big
yeah,
number.
yeah. So I actually, I think I surpassed it. I don't have the number in front of me right now, but I'm not fully, I'm like 1,020,000 or something like that. So I'm in there pretty good, but not solidly yet. But yeah, I hit that million net worth. So that
It's
was
really
pretty,
easy from here, I'm telling you. It
that's
gets
pretty
really
cool.
easy.
Yeah. 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 I think so another neat thing that happened the other day is that, I started with a new company like a couple months ago, and, I'm in their 401k and stuff like that. And they use a company called Empower. So I found an old 401k that I had. So I'm super excited because it had like $50,000 in there. So I'm excited to roll it over into my Roth and start actually trading with it. So I think that's the other cool thing that happened. But so yeah, definitely the highlight of my year is a million net worth. So that's pretty awesome. So yeah, my goal now is to not lose it. And actually get a million net worth without my house. That's really the next one, and I'm super close to that too. So I have actually, I have three accounts more or less. So I have this one, my wife has one, and then I have some, 401ks that are hiding. So I'm at about 920 for just my investment accounts. And then, like I said, my house and some real estate kind of pushes it over the net worth part. But I'm trying to get to 1 million in just investing accounts now is the next goal as well. Oh, the other cool thing that I did that I would say is my highlight for the year is I started an account for my daughter and I got my son an account as well. So next goal for them is to get them in the $1 million club. So yeah, we'll see. So
That's wonderful.
yeah.
That is wonderful.
Yeah, yeah, it's been a fun year. I'm kind of sad to let you go in some ways, but I hope someone else finds you helpful. I know it's been super helpful for me. That's for sure, to say the least. So
Awesome.
yeah,
I really appreciate it.